Today, Limited Run Games announced that it is going to start taking pre-orders for Scott Pilgrim versus the World, the game, the Complete Edition. Now, pre-orders begin on the 15th of January, and that is for an open pre-order, which will close on February 28th. This is for Nintendo Switch and PlayStation 4. There are standard editions and limited editions, as well as all sorts of other branded gaming accessories. The digital game, however, will release on January 14th, one day before pre-orders start, and that is going to actually be on Xbox, Switch, PlayStation 4, PC, and Google Stadia. Now, why is this game releasing again? What's the big deal? Well, this was a beloved brawler that originally released on the Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3 as a digital download only. This is a game based on a movie with a soundtrack from the chiptune band Anamanaguchi. Unfortunately, games that use licensed content very often need to renew licensing agreements if they want to keep selling them. So you'll notice many games based off movies, TV shows, or even just games using another company's licensed intellectual property will sometimes be delisted from store pages. This is because the licensing agreements are usually time limited and need to be renewed or renegotiated if they want to keep selling the game. Just as an example here, let me see if I can find a movie or TV show game. I've got a lot of 360 games, so I should be able to find something. Yeah, here's one. So, Lost on the 360. Let's see if we can find anything about that. Yep, here it is. So you can go to delistedgames.com and search for yourself. A lot of games based on movies or shows eventually get delisted at some point. Anyway, this licensing agreement didn't get renewed for Scott Pilgrim versus the World, the game, so the game was removed from store pages. This could be either the publisher didn't seek to renew the agreement, or the other party didn't want to renew, or they just simply couldn't get a hold of each other. Unfortunately, there was no physical release either. If there were, like my copy of Lost here, then we would see these used games on the used market, either on eBay or a used game store or some other means. And that way people could still buy it today. But that's not to say you should fear digital games because of this. Anyone that purchased the game on PlayStation 3 or Xbox 360 can still go in today and re-download that game with their account. It's just that no new person can go out and buy the game now. However, if this game were released on the Nintendo Wii eShop, that would be a different story. You wouldn't be able to go in and re-download that version. Now, it wasn't released there, but if it had been, this would be an example where digital downloads would be a bit worrisome. For all of the things that Nintendo does right, of course, there's always an area that could use improvement. To me, however, I still put a lot of trust in Steam, Xbox, and PlayStation when it comes to preserving digital downloads. I think even Nintendo going forward could probably be trusted, but the wounds are still fresh. If you think about it, it's really in everyone's best interest to continue preserving your digital downloads. We are moving toward a digital media focused world, and nobody can afford to lose that trust right now. If they don't preserve your digital downloads, people won't trust them with future digital purchases. That's, again, just my opinion. Of course, the truth remains to be seen. But that's not to say all physical games can be trusted either. Any always online game can be shut down whenever. I have my physical copy of Lawbreakers to prove that. But with that all aside, now with the help of lots of begging, pleading, Limited Run, and Ubisoft, we're finally getting a re-release of the beloved brawler with all DLC included. This time, it's going to be on modern systems, so PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Nintendo Switch, PC, and Stadia. And there's going to be a physical edition on Switch and PlayStation 4 thanks to Limited Run, which means sometime 20 years from now, someone will be able to go out and buy a used physical copy of the game on either of those two platforms. I mean, how much will it cost though? I mean, that's another story. It could end up being a rare title. So this time on PlayStation and Xbox, we'll be getting new achievements and trophies. The 360 version originally contained only 200 gamer score, which was typical for cheaper arcadey games at the time, plus an additional 100 gamer score for the DLC, and the PlayStation 4 version contained no platinum trophy. Now, we haven't seen new achievement or trophy lists for the game yet, but I'm willing to bet that we'll see 1000 gamer score and a platinum trophy this time, since that tends to be the new standard, but that's not always the case. Making this all happen probably involved quite a bit of paperwork. Licensing agreements with both Anamanaguchi and Universal Studios more than likely had to be repenned, along with limited run selling and producing physical copies and merchandise. If you've never played the game before, it's a really fun brawler based on the movie where you can grind to power up your character. It kind of feels like a modernized River City Ransom, or I suppose just River City Girls, where you beat up baddies and earn coin to spend in shops along the way. Unfortunately, I didn't buy this when it was available on the 360 and PlayStation 3, but I will be picking up a cheap digital copy this time around. If you want to pick up the physical edition, limited run games usually cost a little more than the digital release because they have to pay their employees and produce the physical goods, but also just be aware it won't ship until 4 to 5 months after the pre-order window closes. Usually the Switch version holds a better value, however the PlayStation 4 version will be playable on the disc edition of the PlayStation 5 with that fancy NVMe drive and all. Alright guys, that's going to do it for today. Thanks for watching. Until next time, I will see you later.